and he is also guru of all the people who are in pharmacy field. So, with this brief thing, now I would like to call upon Professor C.V.S. Subramaniam to introduce the speaker and to start the session. Sir, please.
Uh, Thank you very much, Dr. Giriraj Kulkarni. On behalf of Gokaraj Rangaraju Pharmacy College, I also extend warm welcome to all the delegates of today's webinar hosted by GRCP. At the outset, I invite the speaker, Dr. Sandeep Chaurasia, to this particular webinar, who is briefing us about different topics. It is my pleasure to introduce Dr. Sandeep Chaurasia. He is currently working as a techno-commercial lead scientist, innovator, and pharma R&D in Ashland uh, Inc. Hyderabad, and he is looking after complex injectables and ophthalmic preparations. The title itself tells you how complex it is. He has received bachelor's degree from Lucknow, UP Technical University, Lucknow, and he is a topper of the college and also third rank in the state level. And he has a qualified person of GATE, and he joined Merit Institute of Technology, Engineering and Technology for his M.Pharm program, and he is the UP Technical University topper and gold medalist. That is how, in fact, we are happy to have a student of Giriraj Kulkarni, our principal, to this particular webinar session also. After that, he has got the fellowship, Inspire Fellowship, CST Inspire Fellowship, joined for PhD program in IIT, that is Banaras Hindu University, and he completed his PhD there. So this is before joining PhD, he also had an opportunity to work again in R&D for about 2 years. Probably this pre-experience, pre-PhD experience in R&D has given him an opportunity to put his hand on several aspects which is related to the current topic. His research interests include formulation development of PLGA or PLA based depot complex injectable solutions as well as suspensions. He has successfully published 2 patents and 1 patent is already submitted. And he, during his academic research, he has published 31 research and review articles in both national and international journals. And today he is going to speak on applications of biodegradable polymers for drug delivery as well as medical devices as per industrial perspectives. As you know, the topic itself is so wide and has had hands-on experience on chemistry of polymers and also synthesis, and then molding these polymers into delivery systems, keeping in view of the biological processes, etc. So a wide variety of skills have been acquired, and that too in a complex area of liquid systems, liquid phases. Liquid phases is a super quality that is very we have to learn from him. So with these few remarks, I once again welcome Dr. Sandeep Chaurasia, and now I will hand over the mic to Chaurasia sir. Chaurasia ji, welcome to Gokaraju Rangaraju College of Pharmacy. Over to you for speaking on the topic. Thank you very much.
So first of all, I would like to thank you to Professor and Dr. C.V.S. Subramaniam sir and Professor and Dr. G.T. Kulkarni sir for giving a good opportunity as a guest speaker in your esteemed organization Gokaraju Rangaraju College of Pharmacy, which is suited in Hyderabad location. So now, as a speaker, just I am going to deliver a presentation. Just I am sharing my slides here. So sir, my screen is visible. Hello? Hello? Sir, my screen is visible. Hello? Sir, my screen is visible.
Yes, sir,
Not
visible.
yet, sir.
Sir, my screen is visible. Hello?
Yes, sir, visible. You please
Okay.
carry on.
Okay. So my today presentation topic is application of biodegradable polymer for drug delivery and medical devices as per industrial perspective. So already CVS sir is also presenting my biography. So just I am moving ahead. So the agenda of the today topic is overview of biodegradable polymers. In short is BDPs, objective and biodegradation of BDPs, physicochemical properties of BDPs, BDPs chemistry and their functions to control release, commercial application of BDPs for drug delivery and medical devices, commercial manufacturing process of microspheres, commercial manufacturing process of medical devices and their example. Hello? Yes? Sorry? Hello? Hello? Sir? Sir, my screen is visible or not?
No, sir.
Hello?
It is not presenting your presentation, sir.
So, my screen is visible?
No, sir.
Okay, just a minute, sir. Just a minute. Okay. So now is visible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So, my screen is visible?
Yes, sir. Presentation visible.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now I'm just start initially. Okay, just thank you. So the topic of the presentation is application of biodegradable polymers for drug delivery and medical devices as per industrial perspectives. Already CVS Subramanian sir is presenting my bio, so just I am go ahead with this. And then agenda of the present topic is overview of biodegradable polymers, in short BDPs, objective and biodegradation of BDPs, physicochemical properties of BDPs, BDPs chemistry and their functions to control release, commercial application of BDPs for drug delivery. Yeah, hello? Yes. Full screen है sir. Sir. No sir. एक second. ऑलरेडी स्क्रीन मोड में किया है मैंने. Now, now, so next is a commercial manufacturing process of microspheres, commercial manufacturing process of medical devices and their examples, and at last sterilization of BDPs. So now start with the overview of biodegradable polymers. So biodegradable polymers families. So there are two polymers which are used for drug delivery. One is the PLGA, poly-DL lactide coglycolide, and the second one is the PLA, that is a poly-DL lactide PDLLA. For medical devices, poly-E caprolactone PCL and PLLA poly-L lactide and poly-L lactide co-caprolactone PLCL. Now, why we are called as biodegradable polymer? Polymer that are degraded or resolved by the biological system on implantation. So that's why this is called as the BDPs, biodegradable polymers or bioresorbable polymers. So again, the why we are called as co-block polymer. The co-block polymer, this is the linked segment of polymers or monomer in the form of graft or blocks that offer a new or improved functionality. So the PLGA quality system means the PLGA how to develop and how to maintain their quality. So this is manufactured under GMP compliances and meet the USP 1078, USP chapter 1078. So and in this they provide the guidelines for method, facilities, manufacturing control to be used in production of excipients in order to ensure that excipient possess the quality, purity, safety and suitability for use that they purport to possess. And these excipients intended for use in human drugs, veterinary drugs and biological formulations. Now, again, the International Pharmaceutical Excipient Council 2017 collaborated with the Pharmaceutical Quality Group to develop and manufacture this BDPs, biodegradable polymers. Then again, the manufacturing is done under the ISO class 8 clean room area, which is also known as 1 lakh clean room area. In this, what is the general requirement for this? This is a HEPA filter. This is required having efficiency of 99.9% and the filter's pore size is 0.3 micron meter. Having a air pressure, average number of air change per hour is 10 to 25. Then number of personnel working in that area, and humidity is around 30 to 40% and temperature is below 20 degrees centigrade, and maximum contaminant level, sanitation, number and types of windows and doorways, lights and electric needs. These are all the general requirement which comes under ISO class 8 clean room area. The other quality system compliance to this this biodegradable polymer, that is ISO 13485. In this is the European certification which provide the guidelines for medical devices, and then again quality system which is based on FDA 21 CFR Part 820 CGMP guidelines. In this, the outline CGMP guidelines for developing medical devices. This is also for medical devices. It governs the method, facilities and control used for medical devices, manufacturing, packaging, labeling, storage, installation and services. Application of risk management also comes under the ISO 14971-2012. In this, what is the risk assessment are involved to develop this kind of polymers, which analyze the identity, evaluate the analyze, assess and mitigate potential product issues, and also entire product life cycle will be processed in this ISO 14971. So now objective and biodegradation of BDPs. So why we are used in the pharma? So many drugs have exhibit the concentration related toxicity. Why? Because the it is highly soluble, either highly soluble, so they are rapidly metabolized, or means metabolism is very slow, which reaches up to toxic level, and there after oral administration, low uptake variation in the kinetic profiles, means the PK variability, that is the loss of drug that occur after oral administration due to pre-systemic metabolism or first pass effect. Then low concentration in the desired location via oral route. The drug is completely but slowly absorbed, but may fail to show therapeutic response as a plasma concentration for desired effect. So this is the effect of the pure drug which is given to the patient. But if the drug is given with this BDPs, means biodegradable polymer, they are showing the sustained release effect. This is the curve which is having some therapeutic range, the therapeutic concentration. This is nothing but is the ratio of maximum safe concentration to the minimum effective concentration of the drug. Now, what is the merits of sustained drug delivery systems? The first one is the tunable, means day to month of sustained drug release. Tunable means what? The different ratios of polymers are used, which respond from day to month, release of the drug from day to month, and decrease the overall drug doses, local delivery, and which reduces the side effects, means the dosing frequency is reduces if you are given the drug with BDPs, means biodegradable polymer. If the drug is given itself without the BDPs, there is a chances of degradation. So BDPs reduces the toxicity and dosing frequency, and they release the drug in a sustained manner. Drug peak and through management, that is the therapeutic window already explained. This is the maximum safe concentration to the minimum effective concentration. Then simplified drug stability challenges through digestive system and metabolic variance. In this, they enhances the effective drug solubility, minimizes the drug degradation in GIT, enzymatic degradation of drug, reduce the drug toxicity, in which the transport across the GIT through selective uptake by M cells of Peyer's patches, which directly drain them into the blood circulation via intraepithelial lymphoid cells of lymphatic system, and thus increase systemic availability of the drug. These are the merits of sustained drug release with BDPs. So how the biodegradation process is happened inside the human body? This is the PLGA structures having a DL lactide co-glycolide. This is a co-block polymer. In this, the hydrolytic degradation in aqueous, means PLGA undergo hydrolytic degradation in aqueous environment, where ester linkage, this is the ester linkage present along the polymer backbone, are randomly hydrolyzed. Each hydrolyzed ester linkage form a one hydroxyl, and one carboxylic acid group. These water soluble fragments are hydrolyzed to lactic acid, then glycolic acid, and then finally broken down into the carbon dioxide and water through Krebs cycle. This is the metabolic pathways. So this means final end product is CO2 and water. There is no harm to the body. The physicochemical property of BDPs. The physicochemical property includes first physical property of some grades of BDPs, which having a different ratios of DL, PLGA 50:50, 65:35, 75:25, 85:15. This is a lactic to glycolic acid ratio, means DLA and GA, lactic acid and glycolic acid. This is 50:50. Here the lactic acid is 65 molar mass, and 35 is the glycolic acid. So this variation is showing the resorption period due to their poor hydrophilicity. The slower degradation rate of PLA and comparatively higher hydrophilicity and faster degradation rate of PGA. which are showing by means if the 100% lactic acid are present, means 100% lactic acid are available. That just example is the LPLA or DPLA is showing the maximum resorption period as compared to PGA having 100%. And then if PLGA co-block polymer, other physical properties of PLGA which depend mainly on their initial molecular weight, apart from this inherent viscosity, galactide is to glycolide ratio, size and device of the storage temperature. Apart from this, the glass transition temperature and inherent viscosity is the additional factor which affect to the drug release profile. Then chemical properties of some grades of the BDPs. The chemical property include crystalline melting transition means glass transition temperature, which is in the range of 45:50 in the PLGA, and the maximum is found in the PLA, and minimum is found in the PGA. This is the means proved here. Just all the data is tabulated, which represented the resorption period is minimum in the PGA 6 to 12 months, but maximum is found in the 12 to 24 months in PLA. But variation is exhibited in the from 1 month to 6 months in the different kinds, different ratios with a different molecular weight and inherent viscosity. Apart from this, the solvent which are used or soluble, means the solvent which are used to soluble this PLGA and PLA and PGA. This is the dichloromethane, tetrahydrofuran, ethyl acetate, chloroform, and hexafluoroisopropanol, and lastly acetone. Depending on the preparation of the formulation, this kind of formulations, this kind of solvents are used to dissolve the polymer. Next to BDP's chemistry and their functions to control release. Here, the chemistry and structure for NDDS, novel drug delivery system. This is the co-block polymer of PLGA, having an end group either acid, ester, or others. These end group are affected the control release property of the drug. Apart from this, other is the lactic, DL lactic, L lactic, or glycolic acid monomer options. And then lastly, chemical structure. Inherent viscosity means from 0.2 to 1 is the range of all the BDPs, and their molecular weight. Molecular weight is also affected into the control release profile. Then lastly, polydispersity index. So selection of polymer for preparation of any kind of formulations. These are the initial selection parameter to select the specified limits in terms of inherent viscosity, molecular weight, and polydispersity to prepare the depot formulations or any other kind of the formulations. Polydispersity gives the homogeneity and heterogeneity. This is a unitless quantity of the polymer as well as the formulations. Now, novel drug delivery system. Here NDDS having a 4 component, means how to design the formulations using PLGA. The NDDS system selection first. Second one is their components, and third one is the formulation processing strategies, and then last post processing strategies. So now in the NDDS system selection, the delivery strategies. The delivery strategies includes either in the form of depot, microspheres, nanoparticle, complex formulations, in situ forming gels, oral formulation. It means any other, means different kinds of dosage form formulations or for dosage form are involved. Then indications. These formulations are used for which kind of disease, and then routes of administration, either in the SC, intramuscular, or oral, or any other routes of administration. Then drug loading. High drug loading gives the highest burst effect. So drug loading is low, then release takes longer duration of time. So apart from this, the component which includes the API, means selection of API either water soluble or water insoluble, and then BDP selections based on the in preliminary trial. We will select. You can select the PLGA, PLA, and PCL, and solvents. Generally, 6 solvents are used for dissolution of biodegradable polymers, but for depot injection and in situ forming implants and microspheres, the NMP, N-methyl pyrrolidone, in short PharmaSol, which is also provided by the Ashland. So this is the solvent which in this biodegradable polymers are dissolved, and then the diluents, other diluents, binding agents, the gelatin, which is the another component, and then suspending agents. Suspending agents are used to disperse the prepared formulations. That is the Equalan, the brand name. In this is the sodium CMC, and another brand name is a Blanos, having a sodium CMC, having a different viscosity and molecular weight. So depending on the route of administration and dosage form, we will select the Equalan grades and Blanos grades. Surfactants are also used with sodium CMC and Poloxamer 188 and Twin80. Then after completion of the formulations are means unstable before lyophilization. So lyophilize using mannitol, sterile grade of mannitols and other excipients to improve their shelf life and deaggregation of the particles and other excipient as per the dosage form. Then finally, formulation, processing and strategy. Formulation type, which kind of formulations are prepared, and there what is the strategy, method of preparation, means double emulsification, conservation techniques, precipitation methods. There are so many techniques, spray drying. Then the loading of the API inside the polymers, means what is the by this method how to just incorporate or encapsulate the drug in the BDPs. And thermal and solvent processing, means during processing to maintain the temperatures by which the degradation, means just reduces the degradation of API and polymers. And solvent processing, different kinds of solvent already discussed earlier. And then other techniques are also involved. Then finally, after completion of the formulation, how to sterilize the injectable products. This is the very critical and challenging process. Sterilization was done by either gamma radiation, E-beam, or CO2, and other so many techniques are involved. Generally, biodegradable polymers are sterilized by the gamma radiation, but the disadvantage of that radiation is to reduce the molecular weight of the polymer and also reduces their molar ratio. So we will select another techniques to sterilize this PLGA or PLA or PCL by cold sterilization technique at -80 degrees centigrade. This is not the established method, but we are trying to establish or innovate the new technique for sterilization of this PLGA at -80 degrees centigrade. -80 degrees centigrade for using 15 or 25 kGy, that is a radiation temperature, to sterilize this polymer. The merits of this sterilization techniques to reduce, means just there is no reduction of the molecular weight of the polymer and molar ratios. Then packaging, all the PLGA and final products are PLGA are packed in the aluminum pouch and stored at -15 degrees centigrade, but final products are filled or kept in a vial or in the PFS, pre-filled syringe, or in the pen and the drug device combination, depending on the formulations. Then stability is already told. The PLGA are stored in -15 degrees centigrade, but final formulations are the stability was performed as per ICH guidelines Q2B. Generally 4 degree, 25 and 40 degrees centigrade are select for the stability studies. Then BDP's degradation mechanism. So there are 3 mechanisms are involved: the polymer surface erosion with release of physically entrapped drug, then scission of polymers, Then release of physically entrapped drug by diffusion followed by bioerosion of the polymer. This is the pictorial diagram. Apart from these three degradation mechanism, there are two transports are also involved during the three degradation mechanisms. One is the diffusion through water filled pores, and second one is the osmotic pump. By this transport, the bioerosion of the polymers are happened, and then the drug was released in a sustained manner. Then BDPs functions to control the drug release. What is the function of biodegradable polymer? To control the drug release. Here their chemistry to control. Molar ratio is one of the parameter. Second one is the end group of the polymer, their molar mass, chemical structure, monomer types, and their crystallinity. In the molar ratio, lactide is to glycolide ratio. So already discussed, the degradation rate depend on the lactide is to glycolide ratio. So PLGA with 65 is to 35 is greater as compared to 75 is to 25, and then 85 is to 15. So glycolic acid is thus a critical parameter, help in tuning of the polymer system related to drug release and polymer degradation. Then next, molar tolerance. This is having a limits of plus minus 3. Then block versus random versus blockiness. This is a nothing but this is a co-block polymer. So block is the block of lactide and glycolide, and then random means what? Randomly lactide, glycolide, then lactide, and then the blockiness is the degree and incidence of these regions of relatively higher content of one monomer over other. That is called as blockiness, which is determined by the RCMS and the confirm or using the C13 NMR. Then their end group also affect on the drug release profile. So hydrophilicity of end group, having the series PEG having a highest drug release as compared to acid than ester. So generally the industry adopted as per the formulation and the physicochemical property of the API. Ester end group is the most suitable for the development of sustained release formulations. API sensitivity and stability. API sensitivity is the another factor, means they are just changing the degradation mechanism of the polymer system from the bulk to surface erosion. This was happened by the API and their stability. Then inherent viscosity, highest inherent viscosity, so slower release of the drug. Then molecular weight, the polymer with high molecular weight mostly exhibit a low degradation rate because of the long polymeric chain, which require more time for breakdown and degradation as compared with smaller polymeric chain, which is calculated by the weight number and average and their PDI value. This is means give the homogeneity and heterogeneity of the polymer and as well as the formulations. Then chemical structure. This is a very interesting here. Why? Because apart from the general PLGA, PLA, PCL are used for the drug delivery and medical devices, some other means just tuning of the PLGA by using the star glucose initiated PLGA, means just changing the chemistry of the PLGA and prepare the new PLGA which having effect to control the burst release effect. This is the one of the marketed product, Sandostatin LAR, having a API is octreotide, which is used for the acromegaly, the monkey face in the children's, the treatment of the acromegaly. In this formulation, the star glucose initiated PLGA was used to control the burst effect of the octreotide. Their dendritic polymer also, and the new polymers means sometimes what happened, the formulators just fix the internal specification as per the polymer inherent viscosity, molecular weight, PDI value and the lactide is to glycolide ratio. They are just internally fixed and customize the polymer apart from this. Means generally formulators are not using the 50-50 or 75-25. They are using 45:55 or 40:60, 30:70. So depending on the their outcome of the results. Then monomer types. Monomer types already discussed their lactide inclusions: DL-lactide, glycolide, L-lactide, and E-caprolactone. And lastly, the polymer crystallinity. If the crystallinity decreases, the lactide and molecular weight content is also decreases, which also affect on the control release profile of the drug. Then come to the commercial application of BDPs for drug delivery and medical devices. So BDPs for long-acting drug delivery. Here there are few systems, that is the implantable systems, depot injections, and other systems like oral long-acting formulations, combination product, that is the drug device combination, and medical devices, and then stent. Here the implantable systems include solid implants and implants ring, which is used for vaginal treatment. This is the vaginal ring implants, and this is the solid implants. And here the microspheres are given in the PFS, pre-filled syringe. And then this is the pictorial diagram of the prepared microspheres. Microspheres either in the form of in situ gel or implants. So there are so many kinds of depot formulations are prepared using BDPs. And lastly, the stents, which is also prepared using the PLG or PCL. And their medical devices in the form of, means the preparations are given in the injectable, that is the auto injectors, means self medication is given. This is the Bydureon pen. This is also commercialized. Here is the stent, which is used for coronary artery disease. In this there is just two chambers is there. Here is the microspheres powder is available, and in the back chamber the diluent available present, which is prepared by the sodium CNC already discussed. Just through the back push, just mix well, and then self medication are given. This is the very advanced technique. Then history of I am go through with the one of the commercial products which is approved by the US FDA. And then now I started with the history of microsphere depot injection. So in 1973, first drug delivery patents is filed with the PLGA and drug composition. In 1986, this is the first depot injection. 1 month depot injections was launched commercially in the form of microsphere and approved by US FDA with the name is Decapeptyl. And in 1989, this is the one of the blockbuster microspheres depot injections was launched and approved by US FDA. 1 month, 3 month, or 6 month. This is the 1 month, means using the PLGA, for 3 month and 6 month using polylactic acids. So higher strength of this Lipron depot are used for the prostate cancer, and the lower strength means 1 month depot is used in the gynecological disorder, that is endometriosis. In 1997, again second blockbuster microspheres was launched by the Novartis. This is the 1 month depot injection with the name is Sandostatin LAR. This is 1 month depot having a strength 10, 20, and 30 mg for the treatment of acromegaly, monkey-like face to the children's. And in 2006, again new microspheres are developed with the brand name of Vivitrol. Well, this is the third blockbuster microspheres of 1 month depot. Then again in 2012, the Bydureon pen exenatide is the API 2 month depot. This is the self-medicated auto-injector pen This is the fourth blockbuster microspheres. Then lastly, in 2017, the Electra third 3-month microsphere depart was approved by US FDA. This is the few examples of the depart injection in the form of microspheres. The microsphere is a very complex to develop and manufacture, having means complexity with respect to their facilities, their cost. So FDA around 29 depart injection is approved, has been approved, but only one generic is in the market. So there is a huge scope for the academia and industry also to develop this generic version of this kind of the formulations and collaborate with the industry and launch in the market. So here is the few examples. Just I am giving the compositions and innovator details. This is the injection having a microspheres and diluents, which is mixed well, and having a patented Lipron lock, safety lock, to mix and uniformly distributed. Here is the PLGA 50:50 are used to develop the formulations. And in the second chamber, this is the composition already discussed in previous slides. This is sodium CMC, mannitol, and polysorbate 80. These are the diluents. And the second sandostatin are having composition star glucose star polymer PLG are used. The ratio of PLG is 55:45. Having a strength 10, 20, and 30. Intragluteal injections are given. Same diluent is sodium CMC, sterile D, mannitol, and poloxamide. This is the medications, how to inject to the patient. Then third one is the Biduran pen, extended release injectable suspensions. Here is also, see, here is the mixing window, here is the inspection window, and here green label in this chamber powder is present, that is microspheres, and in this chamber liquid are present, that is diluent. Both are mixed together and then comes to this mixing window. This is the after mixing 80 times, just shake 80 times or more, and then just see here is the uniformly distributed and then injected into the patients. The API is exenatide. So there are three best examples of the depart injections which is commercially available and approved by the US FDA. Now just come to the commercial manufacturing process of microspheres at industry level. How to manufacture these microspheres? This is a very critical process. Here just I am presenting by the flow chart. Drug solution and polymer solution, both are mixed. If polymer solution are mixed in a suitable organic solvents, drug solution are dissolved in the WFI. Mix well using ICA homogenizer to make a primary emulsion. From this step to this step, the criticality is to maintain the temperature and humidity and area of the temperature, and filtration means different grades of sterile filters are used to filter the drug solution or polymer solution if required. And then primary emulsion is formed immediately. Just mix well with the PVA solution. This mixing from this to this using inline kinematica homogenizer. This is the one of the equipment which is used to prepare the microspheres. Then secondary emulsions are prepared after mixing of PVA solution and primary emulsion. Then after that, controlling the temperature, thermal processing to evaporate all the organic solvents at a particular speed, temperature, and time, and then filtration and drying. This is the most critical and very promising steps, how to filter the wet microspheres and drying. After the drying microspheres, again dispersed in the suitable sterile mannitol solution, and then lyophilized. So now this is the aseptic processing techniques. The aseptic processing techniques means from R&D scale to the commercial scale. How to develop this microsphere from 1 gram to the 1 kg or more, just implementing the CGMP or aseptic class 100 area. This is the jacketed vessel to circulate the cool and hot water to maintain the temperature during mixing and evaporation of the organic solvents. This is the pilot scale, and this is the commercial vessel. This is jacketed one, in which just apply the cool and chilled or hot water for evaporation and proper uniform formation of the wet microspheres. After this, how to filter and drying of the microspheres. This is the another instrument which is used to just dewatering and drying of the uniform spherical shape of the microspheres. The name is form separator, pH22 form shape filter dryer. This is a dual functions, having a filtration and drying. The wet suspended microsphere is put it inside this chamber. The waters comes out from this port, and microspheres comes out from this port, and here is the mesh are attached, mesh having a size of 20 and 40 micron in size. So supply the vacuum to dry the suitable size of the microspheres. After the drying, discharge the microsphere from discharging port. The whole process is CIP and SIPable, means clean in place, steam in place, or sterilize in place. Means all the microspheres are sterile grade and processed under the class 100 area. This is the one of the instrument. Another instrument which is the latest, which is and most of the industry are adopted. This is a fully automatic MSP refiner. That is the microsphere refiner. This is the another one. In this, the mesh same near to same, but filter mesh are here attached to dewatering of all the liquids, and then wet microspheres are present here, and the this is the jacketed one to supply the cool or hot water, and then so this is the inlet port of the nitrogen, means there is a removal of oxygen DO level to maintain the DO level, and then all the dried microspheres are collected in this kind of the port, or this is the series of GFD. Bench top filter dryer. In this series 10 to 15 having a different capacity, means a typical product cake volume. In the 10 series having a range of 100 ml, means batch size is 100 ml, and vessel volume is 300 ml, and filtration area is 0.002 meter square. But for 50 series, the vessel volume is 2 liter, but batch size you can take around 500 ml, and 0.01 meter square is the filtration area. Then 500 series having a vessel volume is 10 liter, and product cake volume is 5 liter. So why this is the specialty of this kind of single system instrument? They are slurry filtration, means solid liquid separation, and product washing, means removing impurities and collecting filtrate, re-slurry, vacuum drying, product sampling, product discharge. So this is from R&D to the scale up. Then this is the commercial production scale instrument. So it takes around 2 to 3 days for filtration and drying of the microsphere before preparation of the wet microsphere. Then Wet microspheres, dried microspheres are prepared, then lyophilized with the sterile mannitol solution, mix well with the sterile mannitol solution, and poured aseptically into the vial, suitable vial, having a silicone lining or plain vials, depending on the products, and then stopping it by rubber stopper, either of chlorobutyl or bromobutyl, depending on the product compatibility, and then lyophilized by sublimation process. Then after SCM images of the microsphere, this is this is developed in our lab. This is the pictorial diagram of the microspheres. A is the RLD, means reference listed drug, Leprodex, and then batch 1, 2, and 3 is the in-house prepared batch, is showing the indentation and pores. Pores is generally present in the microsphere due to they are just releasing the drug through these pores. If pores are available, means present in the microsphere, it's good to release the drug in a sustained manner and erode it. And indentation gives the irregular release of the drug. So most of the time and in the processing, the indentation is also formed with the microspheres, and the pores are having some limits which is established or evaluated using porosimeter. Now, what is the critical process parameter and product attributes with preparation of this microspheres? The critical process parameters includes the aqueous to organic phase ratio during the preparation of primary emulsion. The specified ratio of drug to organic phase ratio are used to prepare the primary emulsion, which directly impact on the entrapment efficiency. And then primary emulsion homogenization speed, generally 8 to 12,000 rpm is the limit to prepare the primary emulsion, which directly impact on the particle size of the emulsion and the primary emulsion stability. Otherwise, the cracking is formed. Then volume of PVA solution, generally 0.25% PVA solution of low viscosity grade PVA are used to prepare the double emulsion, which directly impact on the particle size and entrapment efficiency. Temperature during secondary homogenization. Temperature is another one of the important factor during the secondary homogenization to prepare the double emulsion, WOW. The temperature, generally 3 hours are the time, and the temperature initially just taken 2 to 8 degrees centigrade for first 2 hours, and then 15 to 20 degrees centigrade in the next 3 hours, which directly impact on the entrapment efficiency. Then secondary emulsion homogenization. This is also the critical steps which impact on the particle size and entrapment efficiency. Generally, overhead stirrer or homogenizer are used. The speed is just set up to 5 to 6,000 rpm, depending on the product volume and batch size. And DCM, drying temperature and date. DCM is one of the solvents which are used to dissolve the PLGA, but another solvents are also used. But in this case, DCM are removed by drying, means ramping was done. Mainly 40 to 50 degrees centigrade was fixed to evaporate all the organic solvent from the final products, means final wet microspheres which is mixed in the secondary emulsion during secondary emulsion, which directly impact on the release pattern of the drug. If the organic solvents are present in the final product, the irregular release is showing. So limits of organic solvents was established by ICH guidelines Q3C. That is the limits is less than 100 ppm, and the estimation of organic solvent was done by the GC, gas chromatography. So here is the R&D and manufacturing requirements. What is the requirement in the R&D and in the production batches? If you are taking a batch size of 2 liter, having a vials of 250 vial or 5000 vial. The aqueous phase in the R&D, the test tube are used to prepare the aqueous phase preparation, and for production batches, jacketed 50-liter SS 316L grade of the vessels are used, and non-aqueous phase preparation. The glass beakers is used in the R&D batches, but in the production batches, another vessels are used, means 2 vessels are required during the production batches. In the Kinematica, already told, inline homogenizer, the brand name is Kinematica, is used to prepare the microspheres in the both R&D and homogenizer. And then again, filtration and drying, farm separator or GFD are used. Isolator is nothing but is a closed chamber having a class 100 area. In this, under this, all the activities was performed. And 15-liter filling vessels during all the before lyophilization, the dried microspheres are mixed well with the sterile mannitol for lyophilization. So filling vessel, after mixing, filling vessels are required to filling through the peristaltic pump individually, means the specified volume of the suspension are filled in the individual vial and then lyophilized. After that, another cone filters are used. Most of the time 200 mesh or 500 mesh for decant, for separation of the PVA solution from the microsphere. This is generally not required, but most of the time generally industry are preferred. Testing requirement for control of drug product, means what is the analytical parameter which is adopted to evaluate the microspheres, products, and this is descriptions, identification by HPLC, particle size distribution by Malvern, pH, dissolution. This is the most critical parameter which is done by the rotating bottle apparatus, either this or USP type 4. Assay by HPLC, water content KF, and related RS impurities by HPLC, and residual solvents by GC. And apart from this, the gelatin, gelatins are used in most of the products as a binder, means binding agent for low strength water soluble API. So different molecular weight of gelatin are used, and gelatin content are also, because this is a very explosive in nature, so gelatin's content is also estimated along with the API. Commercial manufacturing process of medical devices and their examples. So generally, medical devices, for example, implants are prepared by hot melt extrusion process, that is the HME. This is the pictorial diagram. The polymer matrix and API are mixed and just feed in the feeder. This is the extruder, mix and loaded the API in the polymer. This is the filament, means having a particular temperature. Then gear up, and through the nozzle the products comes out in the form of filament or in the flakes, different dosage form. So what is the criticality and problem associated with HME? Common feed issue, feeding rate, static flow, clogging, means lumps are formed or sticking with the extruder, drug polymer dispersion uniformly. If the drug are not uniformly distributed with the polymer, degradation due to excessive thermal and shear stress. Sometimes what happened, degradation is happened with the API and polymer also. So poor content uniformity during the extrusion process. Then how can improve the HME performance of BDPs? Dense flowing particles, improve energy transfer across particles, flexible particle size for drug, BDPs dispersion, means polymer dispersion, tune process parameter and optimize, means tuning is nothing but tuning their internal specification of the polymer, fix the internal specification of the polymer by on the basis of their inherent viscosity, their molecular weight, their ratio. These are the parameters to fix the process parameter, tune the polymer and their process, means temperature, shear rate, feeding rate, flow. This is the HME, which is available in our R&D lab. How to optimize the HME process? Study optimizing equipment setup, screw configuration, RPM, torque and feed set, barrel temperature ramp and cooling condition. Then BDP characteristics means their chemical structure, like molecular weight, selection of polymer on the basis of molecular weight number, and PDI, their PDI value, and molar ratio, either 50:50, 75:25, 18:15, or depending on their internal specification, which is already done by the formulators, and the form either in the form of granules or in the powder form. If you are present in the granules, so HME was applied to just reduce in the form of powder. Their monitoring, how to monitor it. Then after results, processability improvement to avoid blocking, clogging and material flow during the feeding, blocking during the extrusion. Clog is not formed, material flow uniformly flowing of the material throughout the process from end to end. And then elimination of air and filament inconsistency, means during the process the prepared filaments or flakes is uniform, and loading of the drug is uniform, and there is a no air are present inside the extruder or in the filaments, because this is a flakes. Yield improvements means there is a no loss of polymer during the whole process from end to end, means HME and the reduction to polymer degradation from for example molecular weight degradation and number average degradation. This is from 15% to 5%. I am just giving the one example, is the endomethacin PCL implants. This is found in the this is present or developed in the form of filaments having some particular processing conditions, like extrusion temperature is around 100 degrees centigrade, rotation speed 30 rpm, and their melting and blending process through the extrusion. The size of the filament is around 1.5 plus minus 0.05 mm. These filaments are further optimized to prepare the implants by using 3D printing with FDM techniques. So this is the upgraded form of HME process, the prepared filament by the HME, which further used to create a unique structure of intrauterine device, IUS, by the 3D printing. This is the replicated 2-DEX printer, which exploit the huge filament fabrication techniques for 3D printings, and then triple lab solid to free form fabrication techniques, which is patented by the Stratasys. The process parameters includes the loading temperature around 121 and printing temperature 100 degrees centigrade, printing speeds 45 mm per second, traveling speeds 150 mm per second. The quality parameters were set to 10% for infill that defines solidify of the objects, and 0.1 mm for layer height that describe the thickness of each layer. The number of cells that define the number of outlines printed on each layer of the objects. One attempt made to print 30% drug loaded filament at 165 degrees centigrade, that is above the melting point of the drug, using the same printing parameter as at 100 degrees. So the examples include the most popular example, which is approved by the FDA and also available in the market, intra-implantable contraceptive devices with the brand name of Capronor. That in this design, hollow capsule of polycaprolactone containing steroid in ethyl oleate. This is the suspension vehicle. This is the capsule, implantable capsule. The capsule end are heat sealed. This is a reservoir type device having a size of 4 centimeter rod. The polymer resorption period is around 18 to 24 months. And the end product of this PCL is carbon dioxide and water, already discussed earlier. And the route of administration is subcutaneously in the scale area. Steroid is prostatin only, that is the levonorgestrel, having a dose of 21.6 mg. The duration of use is 1 year. The release of the drug by the diffusion mechanism, already discussed. This is the pictorial diagram of this implantable contraceptive device. Now next one is the ophthalmic implantable device, which is already approved by the US FDA with the name of Azuredex by the Allergan. This is an intravitreal dexamethasone implant, IDI, approved by FDA in 1958 for treatment of posterior non-infectious uveitis, NIU. The dose is 700 microgram, gradually released in the eye. API is same extruded by the HME with PLGA. Same end product of PLGA is CO2 and water. Injection is vitreous cavity under aseptic conditions, means a sterile swab, sterile needles are used to inject inside the eye in the vitreous cavity. This implant is in the rod shape, single use, preservative free, and then storage condition is 15 degrees centigrade to 30 degrees centigrade, and the same mechanism is the diffusion or the release rate. This is the Azuredex pictorial diagram. Now come to the sterilization of BDPs. So most of the time, if you are preparing, formulators are preparing the sterile products, so sterilization is required. But if the product is prepared for the oral route, there is no sterilization is required. So BDP sterilization either by terminal sterilization, in this heat, gamma radiation or E-beam, or chemical by CO2 or antibiotics. That is the irradiation, gamma radiation or E-beam irradiation, generally having a 15 or 25 kilo gyration, generally adopted. But this is the very old process of sterilization. In this, the molecular weight of the polymer are reduced. The other techniques like cold sterilization techniques, which is the most frequently used. Another microbial techniques are also involved for sterilization process. Apart from this, if the viscosity, inherent viscosity of polymer is low, around 0.2 or 0.15, so aseptic filtration is also adopted to filter or sterilize the polymer. This is done by the PVDF grade of filter or PES grade of filter. The difference between these two is the flow rate. PES gives the good flow rate as compared to PVDF. But generally, formulators what will do, at the end of the product, they are sterilized by the cold sterilization technique or by irradiation or heat. This is the sterilization process of the polymer as well as product. So next, my achievement is that just I have developed one of the product which is in the market, with the name of Lupride Depot 11.25 is the strength, and also in the one of the strength that is 3.75 mg and 22.5 mg. So this product are launched in the market, raw market, in the rest of world, and as well as the India market, not in the US market, because the challenges is in the release profile. So our Iceland is providing the all biodegradable grades of polymer. The manufacturing location is in the Synergy Center, Dublin, Ireland. This is the manufacturing plant and Dr. Sean McMahon is our key person, which is seated in the Ireland. Ireland. He did his PhD from the Dublin University, and most of the research work is related to their PLGA and PLA and risperidone. Risperdal Consta. Risperidone is one of his achievement, and he is taking care of that portfolio. Here is my Innovation and R&D Center, that is the Center of Excellence, Ashland R&D, which is located in the Hyderabad, India, and headquarter is in the Wilmington, USA. So I am not describing most of the peoples are not aware of that company. This is actually the chemical excipient company. So Ashland is providing all grades of excipients and for the cosmetics and pharma grade, life sciences, which is used in the pharmaceutical industry. And now Ashland is just take over one of the business, that is the injectable long-acting product portfolio. For this, they are recruiting me last 4 months for that segments, and now they are started the injectable portfolio in the Hyderabad R&D lab. And thank you, and question and answer if
Yeah, can you speak? Hello, Saurashya ji.
Yes, sir.
One specific question is, what is the temperature of hot melt in 3D printing? Is it 100 degree? What is the temperature?
Yes, 100 degrees centigrade.
100 degrees centigrade. What are the degradation products that you expect normally in hot melt extrusion? Regarding PLGA.
Sorry?
Regarding hot melt extrusion, because of high temperatures, etc., what happens to the degradation products with specific to PLGA polymer?
Yes, they are just at that temperature, they are melted down and just form in the form of filaments or flakes. Yes.
I have a question in all this. In fact, I thank you profusely. As you mentioned that complex systems you have been involving right from your career way back to 2011, and today's presentation, you have made it much more simpler so that we can understand. In fact, you have really touched upon several aspects of complexities. I have a small question. What will be the extent of burst effect in all these type of things, because a large number of stresses are involved right from the beginning till the packing.
So burst effect is controlled by the few factors like the fix of their lactide is to glycolide ratio, their inherent viscosity of the polymer, their molecular weight, and their PDI value, which is generally done by the internal fix or done by the internal specification, or which is already initiated by their chemical modification. I am just giving one of the example here. In the sandostatin LAR, just I'm showing here. Just a minute. Yes, here in this there is some chemical modification in this PLGA. Star glucose initiated PLGA are used to prepare this formulation. In this, the glucose function is that just retarded the burst effect from 40% to the 10 to 20%. So yes, so this is only depend on their chemical modification and the ratio of lactide is to glycolide, their inherent viscosity, and the molecular weight and their molar mass.
Normally, will it be less than 5% or 2-3%?
No, no. From up
Based
to,
on the dry weight of the drug.
yes, yes. This is up to more than 5%.
More than 5% burst
Yes.
effect. is there.
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay. So there are no more questions. I just, on behalf of Gokaraju Rangaraju College, I thank you profusely for enlightening us such a complex system into simple terms. And before handovering the mic to principal, I will also thank Dr. Giriraj Kulkarni for tapping the right source and give us the amount of this particular talk, etc. I thank him on behalf of all staff members and management and hand over the mic to him. Thank you, Dr. Sandeep Saurasia. You are son and also you are deep.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Hello.
Yes, sir.
So good afternoon to one and all. Dear Dr. Sandeep, it was a very nice presentation. You have touched upon, as CVS sir told, you have touched upon many things which are complicated and you have made it so simple. Even though it appears to be simple in the presentation, but I can understand the complexity of that. So, but still, it was a very good presentation, and I would like to thank you very much on behalf of the management of Gokaraju Rangaraju College of Pharmacy, and also on behalf of all our faculty members and students. And here I would like to take this opportunity to thank all the delegates and participants who have registered and they are online, and since 10 o'clock onwards, actually we had started it little earlier. From 10 onwards, all the people are online, and now it is 12:30, almost 2.5 hours. They have spared their valuable time to attend this webinar, and it has actually given us a enthusiasm. Here, this was the first webinar we started in Gokaraju Rangaraju College of Pharmacy, and it was an overwhelming response that we got more than 250 registrations online. So we are continuing it and expecting the same support from all the participants. And also, I would like to specially thank Professor CVS Subramaniam sir for accepting to chair this session and give his insightful comments on this session. So thank you one and all for attending this program. Thank you very much. Now the session is closed. And one more thing I would like to tell here is, all the participants are supposed to fill a feedback about this seminar, and we are going to put that feedback presently. Also, you can see that feedback link in the chat box of this, and it will be circulated through the Telegram group also. And thirdly, all participants will receive the same link to their registered email IDs. And to generate e-certificates, it is compulsory to fill the feedback form. Please don't forget to fill the feedback form so that we can generate your certificates and hand over to you in time. Thank you very much. Once again, I would like to thank Sandeep Chaurasia for accepting this. Actually, this was just 1 week before I called him and told you have to give a webinar here, and he immediately accepted. In spite of his busy schedule in the industry, we know, but still he accepted, for which I am highly thankful to you. Thank you one and all. Hoping to meet you in the next webinar. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. This nice events which are organized by you, and thank you to all the participants and Gokaraju Rangaraju College of Pharmacy, and also the special thanks to Professor and Dr. CVS Subramaniam sir. So just he is giving the opportunity to present my experience in the field of the injectable space. So thank you to all.
Thank you. Okay, thank you one and all.
Let us disperse.
Let's disperse.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Hello?